Alright my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today I want to talk about buying PC equipment or buying PC parts or upgrades or some of that kind of stuff when we are getting closer to a launch of other products. Now, as you guys have seen on my channel, I have no problem going out, buying a 4080 Super, buying a 7800X 3D, upgrading the kit, doing all of that stuff really close to the next generation of upgrades. Well, here's the thing, and you have to kind of look at PC gaming in a way that like no matter what you buy, no matter when you buy it, there's always going to be something better around the corner, and that's just true. And I can attest to this. When I first got into the PC space, the FOMO gets really bad, especially, like, I don't know, I think maybe it might have just been worse with the 30 series, just due to, like, you know, 8 gig VRAM on 3070 class cards, 10 gigs of VRAM on the 3080 class cards, you know, just something that could potentially mean that your purchase might not go as far as you would hoped it would. Now, I kind of feel like after using the 4070 Super, 4070, 4080 Super, 7900 XT, 7800 XT, 7600 XT this generation, I can confidently, honestly say that I don't think that these guys missed the mark too much on this GPU launch. Obviously, AMD last generation with the 6000 series came out swinging, giving people, you know, a healthy amount of VRAM. You know, with your 6900 card, your 6800 card, both of those having 16 gigs of VRAM, definitely, you know, adding to the longevity of those purchases. You know, I mean, if you're running like a 3080 10 gig versus a 6800 XT, you obviously are getting a little bit better of an experience with the AMD card, obviously just due to the VRAM. Now, I know there's a lot of stuff out there, guys, that people are saying, oh well, the NVIDIA cards, they don't need as much VRAM, and that, come on guys, that's nonsense. We know that's nonsense. Let's like let's move away from that, because it doesn't matter. VRAM is VRAM. You do need a healthy amount of VRAM. Now, there are features that are coming to Windows, like direct storage and stuff like that, that might mitigate that to a certain extent, and I would like to see that technology be more fully evolved. But I've played games even on 16 gigabyte cards that, you know, obviously if you're running, like, I've played games on my 7900 XT that has a 20 gigs of VRAM, and there are instances where maybe it's got a memory leak or something like that, and it just starts adding to the VRAM thing. So yeah, having more VRAM is always going to be a better purchase, in my opinion. Like, that's just a better purchase in my opinion. Like, if you're out shopping right now for a GPU and your choice is a 4080 Super or a 7900 XTX, I'm inclined to tell you to go with the AMD card. I'm inclined to tell you, look man, you've got 24 gigs of VRAM on there, clearly enough power to run most of these demanding games. And like, look at this, if it is the same amount of power as a 4080 Super, slightly better, slightly less, what I'm playing and the games that I'm in right now, I think you're gonna be okay. I think you're gonna be okay for a little while, and that VRAM is definitely gonna help. The 4080 Super, I mean, at 1440p, I don't see the 16 gigs of VRAM being a problem at all. Like, I really do not see that being a problem. 4K maybe, if you're wanting to use like ray tracing and all of that stuff. Or, I mean, like for Unreal Engine 5 games though, it doesn't seem like VRAM is gonna be a very big, it doesn't seem like VRAM is going to be a deciding factor on that. But there are going to be other games out there that might require like more VRAM at 4K. But you can drop from freaking, you know, ultra settings down to high settings, or even medium settings, or play around, you know, with some ultra settings. And so here's the thing, man, if I'm playing an open world game, vegetation and textures and freaking geometry, those are going to be at ultra no matter what. Like, I don't care. I would sacrifice some of the other stuff before I would sacrifice any of those. Terrain detail, vegetation, and obviously textures. Those are going to be like very important to me, so I will easily sacrifice other things to get that. And that does kind of suck, you know, if you're paying upwards of $700 for a GPU. I don't really think within the first few years you should have to sacrifice anything. So what I'm saying, guys, is obviously we're right around the corner of the 5080, 5090, NVIDIA launching new GPUs, AMD launching GPUs, probably within the next few months. Well, here's the thing. I just bought a 4080 Super. That card came out 3 months ago. By the time the 5080 Ti or 5080 Super comes out, I'm thinking I've got at least 2 years. At least 2 years, maybe a year and a half. Maybe a year and a half, you know, before that new card launches. I mean, I think that it would be safe to say that you get at least a year or two in between. And for me, to be able to get like, so I mean, essentially if a 5080 comes out, we're probably assuming that card is potentially gonna pretty much be like 4090 power. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. 4090 power. 4090 right now is about $2,000, anywhere from $1,700 to $2,000 for 4090. So you get a 5080 that, you know, has a less power draw, comes out, it's definitely more performant, probably shaved down a little bit, probably still running, you know, anywhere from 12 to 16 gigs of VRAM due to the fact that it could potentially be GDDR7. If it's GDDR7, you can expect a price increase, obviously. And I mean, obviously, if you're getting 4090 power, whereas like right now, NVIDIA is like, yeah, man, 4090, we're getting $2,000 for these cards. So if we throw that out, we're going $1,200, $1,300. People will pay it, no problem, no problem. They want that power, and you know, obviously, people are going to pay that. You'll have the, like I said in the last video, you'll have the normal firing squad of all of the big tech tubers that are going to come out, the ones that get the free GPUs, the ones that all get them, and they're not lying to you. Let me make that clear. They're not lying to you. These cards are awesome. The higher up you go, obviously they're awesome. They've got more power. They're able to push those features and push that stuff a little bit stronger. And I've been playing with the 4080 Super for a month now, and I can attest to that. Yes, this is a pretty dang potent card, and it does hold it does very well. And so when they come out and they tell you, yeah, these cards are awesome, yeah, they're gonna be awesome. But then, you know, when they tell you that the price sucks, obviously, you know, like, I don't think anybody really cares. Like, if you want NVIDIA and you want that power, you're gonna buy it. Like, you're gonna buy it. But I think that like FOMO and everything is literally baked into the PC space. Now, can you make these cards last? I believe so. I definitely believe so. From what I'm playing and what I'm seeing in games that I like to play, some of the newer stuff, you know, putting all the numbers up on the screen and looking at things, seeing how things run, playing around with stuff, looking at games at low settings, looking at games at medium settings, high settings. I've been putting in a lot of work trying to figure out, you know, just what these cards are capable of, so that I can really kind of dial down and decide, you know, like, look, man, do you need to upgrade every generation? Is it worth the upgrade every generation? Can a mid-range card put you in a good enough spot to where you can comfortably, you know, say you've got money, say you have the money to spend, you know, $1,000, you know, $1,200 on a GPU. Say that, yeah, you can do that. Well, here's the thing. In the mid-range space, you get comparable settings, like at 1440p, those cards are monsters right now. The 4070 Super, 7800 XT, 7900 GRE, even the 7700 XT to an extent, and 4070 are pretty potent 1440p cards. Like, they do a good job, and you do have the features to back them up, to push them a little bit harder, to push them a little bit further. So when you take that into consideration and you look at what you have right now, if you say you're like on the fence about getting, like, you know, a mid-range card right now, if you've got the money to buy like the higher end cards for like $1,200 or whatever, but you're only playing on, say you're only playing on a 1440p monitor, you have no desire to go out and get a 4K or anything like that, you can literally push those cards to pretty high frame rates. Like, you can push these cards pretty well. Like, they do a dang good job at 1440p. I would say, like, right now we are in the era of every card that launches pretty much technically can do 1440p, whether that's, you know, your your 4060 or your 7600 XT. These cards can do 1440p gaming, and they can do it pretty well. And so when you look at that and you spread that out to like some of your like higher end, you know 14 or your 4070 Supers, your 7800 XT, or your 7900 GRE, once you push those cards into like those are literally considered high refresh 1440p cards, in my opinion. Like, that's where I've placed them in my little hierarchy of how I do things, because I'm not clearly I'm never well, it's a long ways off before I just fall in line with other tech tubers and stuff. But where I'm sitting and what I've tested and what I've played, those cards right there, the mid-range is where you probably want to be. Now, yes, the 4070 Super, absolutely incredible. Or the 4080 Super, absolutely incredible. The 7900 XT, absolutely freaking incredible cards. But do you need them? I don't necessarily believe that you need that high end of a card, because, and here's why. I feel like in this day and age, we don't know if there's going to ever be new features that are going to come to the new cards. Like, we just don't know. We don't know. Like, we're flying blind. And here's my idea. Like, if you're mid-range, if your top of the line mid-range is like $500, $600, $700 even. I mean, I think $700 would probably be like your tap out point to upgrading every generation. But if you're at a point where that every couple of years, like, you think you could afford to throw a couple, like $500, $700 at a GPU to stay in the mid-range and still get more features, still get, higher class card, overall power features and stuff like that, it might be worth it to stay in the mid-range and just upgrade every generation, because this way, if you're upgrading every generation, your card is going to hold its value a little bit better. There's other people out there that are willing to pay you half or even more than half of your purchase price. Like, say you go out, you buy a 4070 Super right now for $600. The new generation comes out, the 5070. You hurry up and buy that card, and then you sell your 4070 Super for about half the money. Therefore, you're getting half of that money back. But say you go out and you buy a 4080 Super, and this card lasts you 2 generations. It lasts you 1 and then 2, and then you try to sell that, you're going to lose significantly more money being able to resell that. Or, I mean, if you're just going to keep it, obviously, whatever you're going to do. But if you're going to resell that, you're going to lose more money than you would if you were to upgrade a mid-range card every single generation and be able to get half your money back and still be able to really utilize and experience, the new features and everything, and still continuously go up in power. Because I've noticed, man, just going from that 3080 10 gig that I had to, like, say the 7800 XT or even the 4070 Super, both of those cards significantly better in terms of like features and just, stability and all of that stuff. That 3080 10 gig wasn't a bad card. It's still not a bad card. It's still pretty decently in that 1440p range easily. But the newer cards have more VRAM. They're faster. They've got more features. They actually, I guess if you got a 3080 Super or 3080 10 gig, you can still literally use like FSR and, frame generation from FSR. Even like Ghost of Tsushima, it's uncoupled, so you can use frame generation with DLSS. So that there is actually pretty awesome. If you could actually get more of that to be able to use DLSS and then utilize, FSR's frame generation, that is freaking cool. But that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, I don't necessarily think that upgrading every generation is really that important. But yes, I get it. There's a lot of people in the PC space that already knows this stuff. They already know this stuff. Obviously, this information is probably not for like the hardcore elite PC guys. This is for me and my and you know, other people that are kind of new to PC like I am, that are just trying to figure this out. I mean, like, you guys know your stuff, man. Like, you probably, like, I don't even understand why you'd be watching this channel. This content is clearly for other people that are like me, that are just trying to get into PC, and we're trying to figure stuff out. And, you know, because you guys can be a little bit too elite. I mean, I'm going to say it right now. You guys can be way too elite and kind of scare people away. And that sucks, because we have a lot of questions, and we don't like feeling stupid when we ask those questions. And sometimes you guys can be a little bit elite. And yes, we are coming in with our console fanboy mindsets. We're coming in. And there's nothing that's going to stop us. So it's one of those things, my friends, where if your whole thing, like, if you're coming into PC, and I've learned this the hard way, the FOMO stuff is never going to end. So you need to kind of decide where you're at and what exactly resolution you want to play at, you know, what kind of a budget you're willing to put towards PC gaming, exactly kind of what you want, because then that gives you a better understanding of where you need to be and what you need to spend on building out that experience. You've got access to used stuff. You need to understand that. Like, you can find and acquire used stuff and significantly lower the cost of entry to overall, like, building a PC and stuff. Because some people, when they upgrade on a they go out of their way and they upgrade impulsively. The system is designed to where the GPUs come out and they're in shortage, so when people see them on the shelf, they hurry up and buy them, and then they, out of like necessity, will throw their other card on, like, on Facebook or something. You know, they'll throw it on there and try to get as much money as they can, and then you offer them some money. Like, you can score good deals on good stuff because somebody else made a bad buying decision, and now they love their new card, but they don't want to, but they have to try to get some of their money back. So yes, take that into consideration, that there are probably good people out there. Make sure that when you're buying it from them, you're going to a safe place and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think everybody out there would go out of their way to like take advantage of you, but you do gotta kind of be careful, you know. But yeah, there are ways to get cheaper stuff and to be able to, you know, utilize, you know, the savings of buying used stuff to better your equipment along the way as well. There's a whole freaking new world when it comes to PC gaming, my friends. Like, it's a whole new world. Like, everything is different. Everything changes. You go from, you know, and here's the thing, man. Like, I'm totally happy playing most games. I am. I'm totally happy playing most games on a mid-range PC. It is very nice to have a 4080. It is very nice to have a 7900 XT. Like, these are very awesome cards. Like, they give me a lot of frame rate, a lot of high frame rate. Playing at 4K is not a problem anymore. Like, it really isn't. I'm actually considering buying a 4K monitor pretty soon. Actually, I'm going to pay this stuff off first, and then I'm going to buy one. But yeah, like, I'm pretty happy with my 4080 Super. I'm pretty happy with my 7900 XT. I really do like these builds. I'm very stoked and happy that I upgraded to a 7800 X3D. Yes, even though new stuff is coming out here in the next couple of weeks, I'm pretty happy that I upgraded, because right now my experience is awesome. I'm not struggling. I've got better 1% lows. I've got a better overall build. So I'm happy with that. I mean, and yeah, man, I mean, maybe the 4070 or 4080 Super goes down a little bit in price when the new cards come out, but those new ones are still going to be a lot more expensive. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, knowing me, I'll probably end up getting a 50 series card and the new AMD card anyway. So, like, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, if I've got a channel, like, I kind of have to get stuff to make content with. So as far as I'm concerned about the whole waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting because new stuff is around the corner. There's always new stuff around the corner. If you're going to let that dictate what you're going to buy, I mean, obviously you can watch benchmarks and all kinds of stuff. You can. My honest feeling is if you went out and you bought a 4070 Super, a 7800 XT, 7900 GRE, 4070 Super or 4070 Ti Super, 4080 Super, 7900 XT, 7900 XTX, or even a 4090, I think you'd be okay. I really do. I kind of think you'd be okay. I feel like you've got at least 4 or 5 years before, you know, I mean, you've got at least 4 years before new consoles come out, so I think you're good. Like, I think these cards are good enough to be able to get you above and beyond a PlayStation and Xbox experience, so I think you'll find a way to be able to be okay and make these cards last a little while. So, I don't know. It's up to you guys. If you can get a good deal on any of this stuff right now before the new stuff comes out, I don't think you should... I really don't think you should I really don't think you should fear buying anything right now. I don't. That's just me, man. I buy what I want to buy when I want to buy it, and you know, I accept my consequences for that. So, all right, my friends, if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.